Although Taekwondo doesn't necessarily have a reputation as the most intimidating style in the martial arts scene, with competitors often being as interested in general health and fitness or doing something cool as they are in clinically beating the crap out of someone, it can't be denied that there are now many successful Taekwondo black belts in MMA. Whilst detractors will cite low percentage offense, in this video I will go over 15 successful Taekwondo black belts in MMA and where they have used their training in their fights. One common theme is that in many cases a Taekwondo move can turn a decision loss into a stoppage victory. Starting the list arbitrarily in alphabetical order with former Russian national Taekwondo champion Akop Stepanyan. Stepanyan is in short one of the best strikers your average casual MMA fan hasn't heard of. He is dangerous with roundhouse kicks, spinning back kicks and spinning hook kicks. Curiously, his defensive skills are in my opinion better than his offensive skills. He has excellent footwork and often makes his opponent miss by a millimeter, putting him in the perfect position to counter. His weakness has generally been in the grappling department and in some cases making poor decisions in his fights. He does hold victories over UFC veterans such as Eddie Yagin and striker Andre Winner. At 33 and on a 2-fight losing streak, his best days may be behind him. Nevertheless, when you consider some of the brawlers who have fought for big money on main cards in North America, he could still make waves with a late career resurgence. Next up on the list is Anderson Silva. Although Silva would mainly become famous as a Muay Thai and BJJ practitioner, he started striking in his early teens with Taekwondo. It is likely his early training in Taekwondo helped him with his use of high kicks and his spinning back kick. An underrated part of Silva's arsenal is the bouncing footwork he has used at times, which he was very likely first introduced to with Taekwondo. This was most notably used in his UFC debut, where he lit up Chris Lieben like a Christmas tree. Arguably the most famous exponent of Taekwondo in MMA in recent times, training under the Rufus family who has much kickboxing pedigree as anyone in North America, Anthony Pettis rose to the status of UFC lightweight champion and a place in the pound-for-pound top 5 in MMA with a string of stoppage victories. He couldn't quite keep the momentum going, however. Detractors would speculate his decline would coincide with the introduction of mandatory random testing, although it can't be ignored that he lost the title against Rafael dos Anjos in a completely untested 5-round bout in Texas. Benson Henderson is another Taekwondo black belt and former champion. He is known as a grappler primarily, but his roundhouse kicks and traditional side kicks have been effective in many of his fights. Bruno Rodriguez Mesquita is a Taekwondo black belt and also a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. He is very effective with spinning attacks. He has currently no wins and 1 loss in the UFC, but going undefeated in his last 5 in smaller shows, he is likely to get another chance in the big show soon. Aaron Cruikshank is a second-degree Taekwondo black belt and UFC veteran with a string of knockout victories on his record. Ed West is a third-degree black belt in the WTF system of Taekwondo. He has competed extensively in the Bellator promotion where he has been very effective with his kicks. Edson Barboza is another Taekwondo black belt who initially became famous for his Muay Thai techniques. His Taekwondo background became more famous once people saw his spinning hook kick technique. If you compare his spinning hook kick to that of Sam Arts, a man widely regarded as the Muay Thai greatest of all time, then it's apparent his Taekwondo training has been effective. Hong Young-ki is a purest exponent of the WTF style of Taekwondo in MMA. He has a natural flair for being a showman and makes his exotic style work for him, launching unpredictable and explosive attacks from distance. His record is 5 wins and 6 losses as of posting, but as a latecomer to the sport, he's had more success than detractors would have predicted, given he has so much to accustom to in terms of grappling punches, knees and elbows. James Munsari is a 4th Dan Taekwondo black belt and a former USA national Taekwondo champion. Like Anderson Silva earlier, he has been effective at using the bouncing style of footwork in the octagon. He is also effective with roundhouse kicks and spinning back kicks. Nina Ansaroff is a 3rd-degree Taekwondo black belt. She has been effective with kicks in her fights and has a 4 wins and 3 losses record in the UFC. Raymond Daniels initially burst onto the scene in the World Combat League. As a naturally flamboyant character, he caused a stir when he was able to land jumping, spinning hook kicks. Coming into his MMA debut with Jeremiah Metcalf, he had built up quite a following, although he was regarded with derision by some of the hardcore kickboxing community. His lack of grappling training became apparent in the bout itself. After a round of grappling, a worn-out Daniels was blasted by a big right hand by Metcalf and shortly after submitted. He has since had success mixing up at the highest levels of kickboxing. He is not the number one in his weight class, but has given the best a run for their money. He returned to MMA in 2019 and has since gone 2 wins and 1 loss. Sage Northcutt has been another highly touted prospect. Although detractors will point out much of the hype surrounding him centers on his prowess in performance martial arts and as a fitness model rather than a combat sports athlete. He was last seen engaging in an ill-advised stand-up contest against Cosmo Alexander, one of the best kickboxers in the world. He is only 23 and has a lot of time to improve, but recovering from the injury will take a lot of physical and mental recovery. Valentina Shevchenko is the most successful striker with a background in Taekwondo competing in MMA right now. Like many on the list, she uses a hybrid striking style, taking elements from Taekwondo and elements from other styles such as Muay Thai. Her innovative striking style has seen her compile a 19-3 record with 4 victories in championship fights. Last but not least on the list is Yair Rodriguez, who has a record of 8 wins and 1 loss in the UFC. He built up a lot of momentum early in his career before coming into a bout with BJ Penn, who is formerly ranked as the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport. Rodriguez impressed being the first fighter to stop Penn. His next fight would be against Frankie Edgar to establish the number 1 contender. Rodriguez took a severe beating in the fight that would spark 18 months of inactivity. He has since rebounded. This profile will conclude my video, and thank you for watching.